Hey everyone, James Hurst with the Marketing Show. Welcome to another episode. I got a special guest, Josh Nelson, with us today. And we got a few people live in the little recording studio audience as well. Add some some comments, some questions at the end, and hold those, and we'll try to make a spot for that. But as you guys have seen, today's episode is going to be all about the topic of building your authority through the publishing of books. And this is something that Josh teaches in his program. And Josh has at least 3 books that I know of. I'm sure we'll go into some of those and the story of how that came to be. But Josh, welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So let me just kind of this isn't an official intro to Josh, but from what I know, so you started out in the agency space. You working with Reach Local. And I know you also spent some time in Haiti growing up there, but you got into the digital marketing space. I remember you had some mindset shifts that there was like $1,000 a month was a minimum that they sold for. You had to kind of work on mindset to, what would people actually pay? I know I've had some of the same issue. Then you kind of had an agency, but you kind of had wrapped up shop, and then you had to come back again. And you've been in this game for a long, long time. Your agency, I don't know whether 7-figure agency or SEO, but they're on the Inc. 5000 list at least 4 years running, maybe more. You're a highly sought after speaker, traffic conversion, high level summit. And it's really just amazing to have the chance to pick your brain here and share your knowledge and experience. So thank you so much.
Thanks for the introduction. Excited to be here.
Thank you. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the book, right? So this is funny enough how I've kind of got into his world. I picked up the book and started reading it, and then from there we ended up messaging each other. But Josh, tell me about maybe you could give us some background and fill in any holes that I missed on some of your background. And then let's talk about your book. And then maybe from there, we could talk about how you teach this as part of your coaching program.
Absolutely. The only thing I'll fill in, first agency right out of college back in 2004, failed, had to shut it down. Worked at Reach Local for a little bit, launched Plumbing and HVAC SEO, which is the agency I run today. Grew that to 7 figures in the first 2 years. Currently does about $7 million per year with a team of 47 full-time employees and a bunch of contractors. And about 2 years after crossing 7 figures, we launched 7-Figure Agency, which is our coaching and mentorship program specifically for agencies looking to grow and scale. And my first foray into leveraging books and content was at Plumber SEO. We had decided we were going to sell to plumbing companies, and we wanted to position ourselves as the authority. So clients would come to us pre-positioned to buy. And we did webinars, and we did content, and we did direct mail, and we did a lot of different things. But we were trying to figure out what could we do that would add value, but also have people look at us in a little bit different light, where they wouldn't look at us as just another agency or just an agency that claims that they work with plumbers, but somebody that actually is a thought leader in this space. And so that's when we published our first book, The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors. And if you look it up on Amazon, it probably has a couple hundred buyers, right? And a couple handful of reviews, not much. But we used that book in so many different ways. First of all, just mailing it out to our top prospects. Whenever we went to trade shows and events where we were exhibiting, we would hand that book out, all right? And then over time, every time we got a new client, we'd ship the book out to them. And over time, the book became known, and people started to say, wow, these guys must know what they're doing. And that led to speaking opportunities. It led to joint venture opportunities. And so, we've used books in a lot of different ways, but that was kind of the original source material. And it made a big difference in people, not just showing up like, oh, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes, but showing up, hey, I see you're the author, or I read your book, or I've got a copy of your book. It's been sitting on my shelf for the last couple of years. How's this going to work? How much is this going to cost? And if you can shift the dynamic in your marketing from, people just showing up to people leaning in, pre-positioned to buy, it will really accelerate your growth.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the group. I see other people, working on their books. In fact, someone just posted today, hey, can you go out to 99 Designs and help me pick my book covers? That's great. Yeah. So, and like you said, it's nothing, maybe you're not going to get on any bestseller list, from this niche down book, but it sure makes a big difference. And I also just put this together from the intensive. What is the root word of authority? Is
Yeah.
an author,
Right.
an author, and whether that's when I'm making content for YouTube, we're authoring content, so you can author content from a written form, also in the video form. So
Absolutely.
when was that first book? The green one, I guess, for the SEO.
The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors probably was released, I would guess, in 2012 or 2013.
So wow, like almost like 15 years ago at this point. And yeah, did you see that poster? I posted a picture of you with the CD. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this you
Dating the
guys,
material, right, with an image of a CD because nobody's got a
yeah.
DVD player or a CD player
I
anymore.
mean, yeah, like as far as like giving yourself the dating yourself with experience. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. So,
Yeah.
and let's see here. So it was effective enough that this is, I mean, you have so much in the portal and seven figure agency, your coaching program, but this is something that you brought in. Tell us about that process of bringing someone new that hasn't done this before.
Mm,
They've got to maybe customize it for their niche. How
yeah.
long does it take? Do you are other people seeing similar results from this process?
Yeah, I think if you want to grow a digital marketing agency and you want to, have clients coming to you pre-positioned to buy, you have to put a marketing process in place, right? In terms of, cold outreach and doing Facebook ads and everything else. But you also want to figure out, how can I position myself as an authority? How can I add value in advance? And we do that through a lot of things, right? We do it through books, we do it through podcasts, we do it through monthly webinars, we do it through speaking events, right? The more you're up the hierarchy of authority, and you kind of become a micro celebrity within your space, that's
Yeah.
how people start to gravitate to you. They're willing to pay a massive premium to deal with the person that they look at as the celebrity expert. And you see examples of that in almost any industry, right? If you think about coaching, a typical business coach is going to get $75 to $100 per hour. But then you've got Tony Robbins, the celebrity expert in business
Yes.
coaching, $100 million plus net worth, right? You look for a psychologist. I want to hire a psychologist. That's going to cost me $75 to $100 to find any average psychologist. But who's the celebrity
Celebrity
psychologist?
psychologist.
Who do you,
Dr. Phil,
Dr.
because I
Phil,
was in, I
right?
was in that listen.
You
Yeah,
heard
I
the
was
session,
in.
but the rest of you that
Yes.
didn't.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
so little things you can do that will make you the celebrity expert, or some of those things. And so the book can be used in so many different ways to position yourself as a marketing lead magnet. But I found it created some resistance. People were like, well, I don't know what I would write the book about. And, even if they like the idea of publishing a book, it's like 2 years into the future. At some point I might, come up with my table of contents and I might do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And what I realized,
It's a big like mental block to like, wow, I've never done this before.
right?
I gotta write a book. What am I gonna write about? So you helped them with that somehow?
Yeah. So what I realized was, most people don't actually read books. Like, if you think about it, especially a book you didn't go out and buy on Amazon, if somebody like gives you a book, you're not going to read it, right? It's going to sit on a shelf somewhere, but it still carries authority. You're not going to throw it out. And so what I try to coach the agencies we work with on is, this doesn't have to be the book, right? At some point you can write the book with like your life story and all this information. We just need a book, right? A book that's good enough, that has good information that you can use as authority positioning. And so if that's the case, the most important thing is the cover and the title. Come up with something that speaks to your niche, that's very compelling. Invest in a process like 99 Designs to have a beautiful cover made.
Yeah.
And then we just give them a template, right? And if you're part of our program, we give a template and we give a process on how you can use AI to modify that template to your industry, so it speaks to the niche and it speaks to the problems and it speaks to the main strategies. But if you didn't have that, you could just take like your main philosophy on marketing for that niche, whether you did a webinar or whether you've written a bunch of blog posts, and use that as the source material for your book. So before I gave the template, Plumber SEO, we created the Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors. I put together a little table of contents. I had been doing webinars every single month on like sub content, like how to set up your website, how to make sure, you're coming up in organic search, how to get ranked on the Google map, all of that type of stuff. And I just transcribed it, and each one of those 30 to 45 minute webinars became a chapter in the book. right? And then it was a matter of just punching it up and making it look good. But I think have a nice cover. Don't overthink the content, and make it thick enough that it looks like a real book, right? If you make it like
substantial,
75 pages,
like
that doesn't feel legit. It needs to be at least 95 pages. That way, when you ship it to somebody, it's got some heft to it. One of the best member books I've seen published is Brad Ferris. Brad Ferris from Clinic Growers. His book is like this thick, and it's cosmetic marketing secrets or something like that. And it's really, really well done. But 95 to 150 pages, nice cover, and you're going to have a completely different status in the marketplace.
Yeah. Okay. Personal question. What if I wanted to do something to build my authority in the high level niche? Like how could it be as simple as how to make money with high level on the internet or something?
Absolutely. I mean, in your case, come up with something that somebody that either already uses high level or is thinking about monetizing a SaaS play. And then take transcripts of the episodes of the marketing show. You've got so many great episodes with so many very specific tactics.
Trainings.
Put that into a transcript, drop it into Claude or ChatGPT, tell it I'm trying to make this into a book, and it will give you a really nice, original version, like a rough draft. Then you want to take it to someone that can format it and make it look like a real book. That way when somebody flips through it, it makes sense.
So, and then are you, from a actually publishing standpoint, I guess, is that through Amazon Publishing or some other, do people use different publishers or?
Yeah. So whenever I first
print on demand,
a shortcut is yes, you're going to use Amazon Create Space. It costs you $0. You only pay for every book that you ship. Whenever I was first in this, I was a big fan of Dan Kennedy, right? And so dating myself again here, Dan Kennedy with Super Conference and Info Conference and these things that happened every single quarter. And there was a bunch of guys that were like, hey, we're going to create the book for you. And it was like a $30,000 investment. Literally, they help you talk the book and then they publish it for you. That's a really big ask, in my opinion. And so I was like, well, why wouldn't I just take the book and put it on Create Space? It cost me literally $0. And that's what we did. And you published, it actually has the reach of Amazon. So people are searching, you optimize the name of the book and you optimize some of the things within the book profile. You get organic search on Amazon, and then Google picks up the book and it starts to show up in Google search as well. And it doesn't cost you anything. Literally, I think the cost to print a book, the original book, it was like $1.25, less than you might spend to print out a pamphlet that nobody would keep. If you hand someone a pamphlet, they take that and they throw it in the trash. If you give them a book, they're going to keep it. It's going to wind up on a shelf somewhere.
Now, speaking of that, so this must have worked for you because you went ahead and did another one.
Yeah.
So is there 3 total that you have?
So there's actually 5. There's
5.
So the Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbers.
Yeah.
Then we published Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Contractors when I had the smart idea of like, hey, I'm going to work with all contractors, and that didn't work out very well for us for a variety of reasons. Then we published How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing Right for Plumbing, HVAC, Home Service Contractors. That's like the main book that we use today at Plumbing and HVAC SEO, to send out and to use as our lead magnet and things. And then I guess in 2019, I published the 7-Figure Agency Roadmap, which was our training on how to grow and scale your digital marketing agency. That's I think the #1 most read book on growing and scaling a digital marketing agency. Definitely the most reviews on Amazon, and has literally brought us hundreds and hundreds of coaching clients through that process. And then we're thinking about how do we attract a different level agency, right? Like, what are the problems that an agency that's already doing high 6 figures, 7 figures are facing that, like the roadmap is like, hey, there's a lot of startup agencies reading it. Hey, how would I start an agency? So the client retention handbook was like, how do we retain our clients? Now that we've got a successful agency and it was all our best ideas and strategies on client retention. And that's why we published it. And it's also worked really well for us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the bait that you're using is going to attract the someone who's already on the other problems of retention. Exactly. That's maybe more of maybe a Russell Brunson type thing. But so Dan Kennedy, the lumpy mail, he also talked about the lumpy, no one's not going to open up that package too. So awesome. Okay, well, let me share my screen and just kind of show some of these books that people are working on. And so let's see here. So I'm actually in this. I'm actually in the seven-figure agency. This is the mastermind. This is the paid group. So you also have the free group. We could we definitely touch on that later. But I was just looking here through the designs. So Daniel Burkholder was just posting in the group for some help. So we can go ahead and pick a design, and you can tell he's going to become the celebrity in the auto body shop's niche, right?
Yeah.
So. I was trying to find his post, but I lost it. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Daniel Burkholder. I think it was just so timely. So 18 hours ago, he says, "Hey, anyone with an opinion on the I need feedback on my new book cover." So
Yeah, step one in the process as we teach it is come up with a title, right? And we got a couple of title templates that work really well. And then we use AI these days to help you come up with a really good title. And if you really want feedback, you post like, hey, I'm thinking about publishing a book on this topic. Which title you like best, right? Then the next step is go get it designed. And the easiest way to get a bunch of really cool designs is 99 Designs. And so that's, and then once you've got the design covers, you say, hey, which design cover do you like best? And ideally, you're also getting this out in front of your niche. And they're kind of having some vested interest in the topic, in the title, in the design, and they're more likely to actually grab the book and post a review for the book and help grow the popularity of the book.
Love it. So these are just a few samples from some of the members in Josh's community.
Yeah,
just
that one
really
looks great. I love that one.
Yeah, and I love this. Mo money, mo problems. Like, some people are like, hey, I just want to get this out there, right? Just get the book done. And it's the complete, it's kind of the boring title, the internet marketing for, contractors.
Yep.
But if you can have some of that creativity like this, I think it goes a long ways as well. Matt Foreman, Isaac Hyman, Outram from Drive. They've done
really well in that auto repair industry.
Yeah. Lift Marketing. Yeah. Lift. And then there's yours. So I think it's just a great, a great thing. And so if people do want to actually get your book, and maybe they don't have it yet today, they would go to sevenfigureagency.com/book, right?
Yep.
So you can go to Seven Figure Agency, look around, but if you want to go directly to get this book, or you could go on Amazon, but it's a classic kind of free plus shipping offer. So it's completely free. But there is a little cover, $7.95 for you cover shipping and handling. So, and I've watched this video, and what I also always loved about Josh, you guys, is that he doesn't just teach this, but this is my favorite picture right here, right here. You're in the weeds. He still does. He not just did it a long time ago. You're running these concurrently.
Yep.
And you said, I think this one's doing $7 million in annual?
We did $7 million last year. We've got 47 full-time employees, so about 60 employees total if you count the contractors. And that was when we were still in an office in Doral. After COVID, we went virtual. But yeah, it's a real team, right? It's real people doing work all day, every day. A great company that I'm very proud to run. Yeah.
No, so I mean you're in the weeds, and then you get to leverage all the knowledge of the mastermind too. I'm sure you learn a lot from what they're doing. It's a great synergy. Speaking of which, you're just coming off of the Seven Figure Agency Intensive, right? Where we get together 3 times a year.
Yep.
You want to tell us a little bit about that coaching program, the intensives, and you're just coming off of the one from March, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. We just wrapped up. It was actually 5 full days from Monday through Friday. Just meeting with agencies at different sizes and different levels in their growth. But what I found is I launched Seven Figure Agency as a course, right? So it was the Seven Figure Agency Blueprint back in 2013. And a bunch of people bought it and they got great results. But what we realized was just having a course only gets you so far, right? You actually need ongoing support. You're going to hit different stuck points. You're going to need answers and direction. And so it morphed into a coaching program where we were on Zoom, doing Zoom meetings and answering questions. And then somewhere around like 2015, we realized, really breakthroughs happen when you're live and in person, and we started getting together in person 3 times per year for these intensives in Miami. And bringing the whole community together and just going deep on landing clients, delivering results, retention, scale. answering questions, brainstorming, and obviously now we've got over 350 active members in the community. We've got over 142 agencies that are doing over 7 figures now. And so, in a nutshell, we get together 3 times per year, plus tons of training and content in the member portal. Plus we do live trainings like this 3 times a week, if not more.
Yeah. What you or your team are just constantly cranking out, and like, I don't know, it's incredible. It's an awesome thing to watch. So yeah, here, can you guys see this picture here of the group? Yeah, so it's super fun. The other thing I was going to mention is, like, when I read these books, when I read the books, and the stories, it's like, oh, that's Danny. I've met him. Like, it's not just like, there's him. Like it's something about it that makes it so real when I know these people online, and I've met them in person. It leads an authenticity to it then, rather than just some, it's just made up or whatever. But I think that's great as well. Okay, well, so we know, let's see here. So am I sharing my screen? So we know where to get the book if we want to get the book, sevenfigureagency.com/book. Let's go ahead and talk about your free group, right? If anyone's just kind of, just stepping into this here, digital marketing agency success. So coming up on 20,000 members. It's incredible. Great resource. Lots of people asking questions. And you got a good moderators in there, keeping it free from spam and things like that. And there's your books right there. Let's go ahead and also look at your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was just going to say, while you pull up the YouTube channel, in that group you mentioned moderated, the fact is, for every 10 people that try to join the group, it's only like 1 or 2 that get added, because we want to have legitimate agency owners in there that have legitimate problems, and they're not just in there to sell. And what we found in the past is, if we'd let anybody in, we wound up with just a bunch of spam happening in DMs, and with a 20,000 person group, that still happens from time to time. But we try and make sure that it's, you're here with peers, you're here to learn, you're here to share, and you're not here to be sold or to sell to the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's important as the group size grows that, you keep it, the people that really should be in there, not a bunch of spam. So
yeah,
that is, it's a valuable group. Definitely. And it's free to join. The other one, the paid one, is if you're a paid member of their program. So let's just talk about your YouTube channel. Look at that. So you guys have been just recently crossed 11,000 subscribers, cranking out almost 2,000 videos. And I noticed, your thumbnails, you got some new thumbnail designers. Has that been going? You feel like you've noticed a lift in views or anything, click-through rates?
Absolutely. I've learned a lot about YouTube over the last couple of years. I've always been consistent with videos, but it used to just be show up off the cuff, and whatever the auto-generated thumbnail was, that was what you got, right? And I got a little bit better. Like 2 years ago, I started doing, 1 video every single week, kind of studio produced with a thumbnail, but not like you see there. They were just more like text with me on it somewhere.
Yep.
Like those ones. It's more generic. And then in the last 6 months, we've really started paying attention to the thumbnail design, the hook at the beginning of the video, the retention through the first 30 seconds. And we've seen a massive increase in our views for these videos. Like they've really picked up. Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed the changes. I think it's great. Awesome. So yes, multiple ways to get in touch with them. It's YouTube channel, Facebook group, get the book, plug in that way. Awesome. Well, what have I missed?
One thing you asked, like that you said you might bring up, would be why the free plus shipping funnel versus directly to Amazon.
Yeah,
we can have a little conversation about that if you want.
Yeah, please, let's do it.
So you definitely want it on Amazon for the clout, right? And you want to build up your reviews for the book on Amazon, and you'll get organic discovery. Like people will find it on Amazon, The reason you want to try and drive people to your actual funnel is when someone buys your book on Amazon, you don't have any contact details. Like it's just somebody that has your book out there in the ether versus if they come through your free plus shipping funnel, usually you're going to get a name, an email address, a cell phone number, and a mailing address, right? So you've got multiple points of contact and a lead that you can then follow up with. And so that's why you want to have both, but I tend to drive people to the free plus shipping funnel to get it.
Makes perfect sense. So yeah, you're getting a fully qualified lead that you can, I'm assuming it goes to high level. And can I just ask, what do you do with that? What do you just put them on a generic newsletter? Do you have some sort of, do you try to go to a booking call aggressively, or what do you
do? We do actually. So we treat it like any other lead magnet. So once they opt in for the book, they're going to get confirmation and thank you. Hey, thanks so much for requesting the book. Here's a digital copy and the audio version that you can listen to. If you'd like some help, we'd love to chat with you about your agency and how you can grow and scale. You can schedule that here. And then speed to lead, like anything else, like we want to make sure we're calling that lead within the first 5 to 10 minutes. And it's not a hard sell, but it's like, hey, I see, like, and this isn't, I'm not trying to show you how we do it on our thing. It's just how you should do it with any book funnel. Hey, saw you requested the book. Thank you so much. I wanted to confirm I've got the right mailing address. And now they're paying attention. Okay, yeah, so I got this address. Awesome. It's going to get shipped out to you. Should be there in the next couple of days. Well, I got you. Tell me a little bit about your agency, right? And now you start a conversation to see if there's a problem, to see if there's a challenge they're looking to solve. And we do the same thing for the plumbing and HVAC one, right? It's like, hey, how are you marketing yourself today? Oh, really? Like, what have you tried? Is there any issues with the current strategy? And usually they're going to say something that points to an issue. And you can say, hey, since you got the book, we'd love to schedule a one-to-one with you just to kind of look at your current online marketing strategy. And if it's great, we'll give you all high fives. But if there's room for improvement, we'll show that as well. Did you want to go ahead and set that up? Right. And it's not 100%, but a lot of the prospects, if they requested the book, it's because they're looking to improve their online marketing. And now we can schedule a strategy session with somebody that's in market.
Okay. So you kind of go from these digital touch points, joining the Facebook group or the lead magnet, and you get some one-on-one stuff. You get some phone calls going, some individual texts, things like that.
Absolutely.
You have that next goal in the sales process, the sales cycle.
Yeah. And we do it all through high level to be completely clear. When they that page right there where you request the free book, it drops them onto a pipeline in high level and then adds them to a workflow, sequence of communication. Once that workflow runs its course, then it goes to a long-term nurture sequence, right? And as that's happening, they get invited to our live webinars that happen every single month. They get sent case studies and client testimonials as they happen. So regardless of how they enter the stream, whether it's from the book or some other mechanism, they're going to get warmed up. We're going to add tons and tons of value over time. And ideally, you can take someone from not knowing you at all to the point where they look at you as the go-to expert. And the way you do that is by depositing massive value, right? You're giving them information, you're sharing case studies, you're sharing examples, and they see and hear from you in a lot of different ways until they're ready, right? And then they'll raise their hand and schedule in.
I remember reading that in the book. You were only maybe emailing them like once a month, and was it Andrew Cass or someone that said, if you think about a month, that's only 12 touches a year. You've got them; they're probably pretty hot, and then you kind of get after it, right?
Yeah, but ideally, you're touching them at least once a week via email or social media or some other mechanism.
Yeah. Cool. So in the background, you kind of have your core principles there, right? So maybe we can touch on those and where the book fits in there. I can't really see them, but I'm sure you've got them memorized.
I do. Yeah. So it's land clients over here. We got to land clients. We got to deliver results. We got to retain long-term, and then we've got to scale, right? Put the systems, the procedure in place so we don't have to do it all ourselves. Where does the book fit in? Well, it fits over in land clients, right? In order to land clients, we've got to fill the funnel. We've got to build authority, and we've got to have a nice, tight sales process, right? And so we can fill the funnel through cold emails. We can fill the funnel through Facebook ads. We can fill the funnel through speaking at things. But if we want to build authority, that's where having a published book, that's where doing consistent webinars, that's where sharing case studies, that's where speaking on the stage comes into play. And when you combine a full funnel with really strong authority, you're going to get a high show up rate, you're going to have a high close rate, and you're going to be able to command a premium that other agencies just wouldn't be able to. It also impacts your retention as well, because if they hire you thinking of you as the expert, they're going to give you more time to get your stuff off the ground and like prove your results.
Love it. I think the biggest takeaway for me was, it's so crazy. It's counterintuitive. Is that they're not going to read the book, or they might not read the book, but yet it still has this effectiveness, right? And so it's like you have that book. It's something you can hold and touch. It's a great thing to, it's gotten you like now you've got this interview well after the fact. I think it's kind of cool. Like, oh, I did this book work, and I've kind of given a little shot in the arm. Like, oh yeah, I have this book. Maybe we can, get an influx of leads. But this idea that maybe they don't read the book, but it sits on their shelves and it does its job without even being read. And what it also reminds me of is how you a big proponent of these monthly webinars. And I'm thinking, if I'm the funeral home director, how many, what the total addressable market? It's not that big. Like, and maybe I see people say, oh yeah, I got 5 people to show up. I got 2, or nobody showed up. The biggest fear of all, right? Nobody showed up. And but in a way, and then I saw in your book, you said that you had a massive lift when on the thank you page of these webinars, you're still trying to book these strategy calls. And it was almost like the webinar gets chopped up into lots of different pieces, and you get these 3 excuses to hit up your list with that value. So you get to announce it, tell them it's an hour, it's about an hour, and then the replay, those 3 opportunities. And so it's like you've already gone through all these things that would take years to learn. And so if people want to shortcut their path to success, then they can follow you and how many others are doing the same. And I've seen firsthand people coming in at 30K MRR and jumping up to 80 or from 20 to 60, like these big solid jumps in MRR, and it's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah. I think what you said about the webinars, it's just like the book, right? Not everyone's going to sit through your hour-long webinar, but it forces you to create the content, right? We all know we need unique content. So you do a unique webinar every month, not like a preset.
Not the same one.
Yeah. Then you're emailing them about it. And if you use the shortcut, the second they register for the webinar, just like the second they request the book, hey, thanks so much for registering for the webinar. It's going to be awesome. You're going to learn all about how to get ranked for the most important keywords in your area. If you're like most plumbing and HVAC companies, you want that information. You want to understand how it works, but really more than anything else, you want somebody that can get you the results. And so if that's you, let's just go ahead and schedule a time. Let's pick a time over here on the side here. I'll do a complete review of your current website. I'll do a complete review of kind of where you're ranking today and where there's room for improvement. Let's just go ahead and schedule that now. We'll get as many people that schedule from that 2-step before the webinar as we do from people that watched the webinar and then schedule.
It's so cool. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, duh, it's just, it's amazing. So, cool. I think we'll wrap up here. I think we covered a lot of good stuff. You guys can go get the book, go follow Josh. I want to open it up to Stephanie or Cameron, anybody else that wants to, close us out with some questions. But what did you guys think?
It was awesome. You guys, a lot of value. I guess the question I would have, do you send out for either business, right? Your coaching or the HVAC plumbing SEO company, do you send out ebooks for free as a lead source or lead gen?
We don't in the coaching business because there's a material like people they'll pay for it, right? They really like it. In the plumbing business, we use it to mail our Dream 100 list. So we hand select the top 100 plumbing HVAC companies that are in our range that we want to do business with. So in addition to the marketing and letting people find us through inbound, we'll have a whole campaign where we reach out to them and the first thing we send is the book, right? And then we call behind that. And it just warms the beaches so they're more receptive to that call.
Yeah. And out of curiosity, and this might be behind a paid wall, and we're more than happy to entertain that because just for this conversation, you offer a lot of value, right? Out of 100, say you were to send 100, and I'd imagine the cost to send out the books are fairly cheap. Is that right? Like $10 probably?
Yeah, like it's $1.50 for the book plus the printed material plus the shipping cost. It probably gets in the neighborhood of $10. Yeah.
$10. Out of 100 people you send it out to, what does it look like as far as obtaining a client?
Yeah, I would say if all you did was sent it out, you'd be lucky if you got one, right? Literally, just because that's not going to cut it. However,
you have to call all of them.
Send it out and you call behind it and you connect with them on Facebook, you connect with them on LinkedIn, you leave a message at the office over the course of about a quarter, because you can cycle this once per quarter. You can probably wind up with like 6 to 7 clients from a Dream 100 outreach campaign like that. If you really work it well and you're targeting the right people and you've got a strong sales team behind it.
Definitely worth it. I guess
Yeah.
last question, and then I imagine Stephanie might have some, if you don't mind. But are you open to talking about your course, your mastermind? What is some of the pricing there, or should I book a strategy call with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, probably best to schedule. Like if you go
Okay,
to
we'll do.
sevenfigureagency.com/schedule. I don't want to like put the price out there for people that have no interest at this moment. But
Yeah, no, I
appreciate the
understand
question.
that. Sorry for putting you on the spot there.
Not at all.
Oh, no, just tell them, yeah, tell them where to go. So 7figureagency/schedule.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah. And yeah, what would you, I mean, it's not for beginners. That's one thing I've learned. It's usually people are doing, they've already figured this out. Maybe there have been a general agency for 5, 10 years, maybe 20 years. Would you say most people are coming in at 20K MRR or around there, or what?
Like the minimum threshold, is you're doing at least 10K on a monthly basis in your agency. Typically, usually it's going to be like between $25,000 and $30,000 a month. But I will tell you, we've had many agencies join that are already at 7 figures and multiple 7 figures, and they don't need the basics. They want a community of other agencies that are doing this, that solve problems. Great examples of that are like Matt Plapp in Restaurant Marketing That Works. He was at like 83K, and now he's doing almost 8 figures, right? Billy Sticker from Cairo Candy was doing $83,000 a month in recurring. And you might look at a program like this and be like, I already know all this stuff. I'm already successful. But there's massive power and like little incremental improvements in the way you operate, but also the community. There's literally 142 other agencies in this program doing over 7 figures in niche focused agencies. And that alone, the mastermind component, more than justifies the cost in most cases.
Yeah. And from what I've seen, it's such a generous group. I don't know how we've attracted such generosity and sharing secrets. Even competition, even competitors within the same niche are like helping each other out. There's room for all of us. It's a big world with a lot of people in it. All right, guys. Josh Nelson with 7-Figure Agency and Plumber and HVAC SEO. Go get his book if you haven't got it already. Schedule a call with them if it's a good fit. Regardless, there's plenty to learn if you're a solo entrepreneur or if you're seasoned. Just thank you so much, Josh, for your time.
Thanks for having me, man. And thanks for everything you do to support the 7-Figure Agency community as our high-level coach. And thanks for having me on.
All right. We will see you guys soon. And until then, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.